It's time for another edition of Live from Studio M on 105.5 Triple M. I'm your host, Jonathan Suttin. Usually when we have guests here in Studio M, I talk about the singer-songwriter. It's rare to have a songwriter, but not a singer, and one that was classically trained in music. And I'm not just talking about taking a few lessons when you're at the age of 8. But that's just one aspect of this band that has many interesting layers, not only sonically, but historically too. They come to us from Brooklyn. They've been described as Baroque pop. We'll talk to them about how a love for high school basketball was key in the genesis of this band, how one of their older songs is an aphrodisiac for some, and why their name is something that I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. But first, let's hear a song from San Fermin, live from Studio M.
Wanted to be where the good girls go. Left and drove all night through the desert just to clear my mind on the open road. The devil, he was hanging around. Lay my head where the embers burn. Saw sun touch down at the edges of the earth. Stayed in line to wait my turn, but the devil, he was hanging around. Over and over the same damn streets. Pace my paces silent to the same beat. Gotta be someplace that I can breathe, the air to freeze my lungs. All that belief, man, not potential. If I'd have got right, I could have been there, could have been special. In the white light, I'm having trouble, I'm not well. I got lost along the way. The devil dragged me straight to hell. No sleeping where you can't stay. Wanted to be where the trees don't grow. Drove the morning further than the roads go. Cut my ties and left my soul, 'cause the devil, he'd been dragging me down. Lay right down in a brand new place, miles and miles behind me for a blank slate. Keep my eye on the window pane, 'cause the devil, he hunt me down. All that proof, man, not potential. If I'd have got right, I could have been there, could have been special. In the white light, I'm having trouble, I'm not well. I got lost along the way. The devil dragged me straight to hell. No sleeping where you can't stay. Oh, how did I end up this far gone? Or was it all me all along? I wanna believe I'm better than me. I'm no devil. 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 Yeah, I'm having trouble. I'm not well.
Got lost along the way.
The devil dragged me straight to hell.
No sleep where you can't stay.
Yeah, I'm having trouble. I'm not well.
Was it only all alone?
The devil dragged me straight to hell.
No sleep where you can't stay.
I'm no devil.
No sleep
I'm
where
no
you can't
devil.
stay.
I'm no devil. I'm no devil.
San Fermin, live from Studio M. We'll chat with the band next here at 105.5 Triple M. We're back live from Studio M on 105.5 Triple M. San Fermin, am I doing that right, first of all?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so Ellis Ludwig Leon, you're the mastermind behind the band, I guess, or created
Songwriter.
the band, sort of. Okay, so let's start off with you. You went to Yale for classical music composition. So was your family like, "Yay, he's going to Yale"? Boo, he's doing classical music. Tell us a little bit about that.
Both my parents are visual artists. They're painters. And so I always, when I took piano lessons, I actually would study at the college that my dad taught at. So they were always sort of involved. They were very supportive all the way through. Usually, like, people expect, parents expect you, or they want you to be like a doctor or a lawyer. My parents actually basically assumed we were all going to be artists. So it was sort of like a totally reversed thing.
Right. What do you mean they're visual artists? Like, do they do what kind of stuff?
Painters. My dad is a figurative. They're both figurative painters.
Okay.
My mom paints swimmers particularly.
Really?
Yeah.
Like swimming in action?
Yeah, there's actually some paintings of Alan swimming, really weirdly. Because we went on a family vacation.
Okay.
And Alan came.
All right, so it's not like professional swimmers. It's not that Alan, not that you're not a professional.
I'm like the worst swimmer.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Actually, all the paintings of Alan, you can't see his feet because he's actually standing on the ground. Because he can't really swim very well.
Oh, wow, you really can't. Okay. All right, so Alan here, you and Alan met when you were both teenagers, right?
Yeah, we were like 15.
Yeah, and it was Berklee School of Music Summer School or something like that, or some kind of...
Yeah, they do a bunch of workshops. I think they're basically geared towards kids who are in high school who might want to go to Berklee.
Okay.
But we both did one of the summer songwriting workshops, and it was like a week or 10 days long.
But it was all about the hoops, right?
I think we were the only two people who could catch at that entire program. And then it turned out, oddly enough, we were both very serious about music, but also happened to both also be really serious about basketball in high school. So we had played a lot of the same people, same tournaments, that kind of stuff.
So you both are ballers, really?
Alan played it in college. I just went the nerdy route and did the classical music thing.
Gotcha. Okay, and where were you in school then?
I played at NYU, which is not particularly high level, but it was good. It's high level D3, but yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but you're not playing the Badgers anytime soon.
No.
Okay. And so then, did you think that you were going to sing? I mean, Alan's a great singer, but you can't sing?
I've never really wanted to, and I definitely can't. So it's sort of like
everybody's nodding their head in the band, which is interesting.
Well, the thing is, they all have to hear, or at least the singers hear demos, because when I write the songs, I have to sing something so they know what it is. Yeah. And I think I sent Alan the demos for the first record, and his mom heard it, and she was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Wow. Okay. All right. We'll talk more and meet the rest of the band, but we'd love to hear another song. What do you got for us?
This next one is Emily.
Okay. Do we have a story behind Emily that we want to tell? No.
No.
Really? Okay. We'll just leave it to our imagination, I guess. Okay. It's Fermin, live from Studio M.
It's never enough in the moment, no matter who I go home with. Late nights awake and alone with myself again, and it's lonely. I'm good, it's a good time. Keeping all my cousins in a straight line. I can't believe it all comes to nothing. Emily, let the night take me down, down, down the rabbit hole. Dug in deep with my unbelief, and I'm running on empty. 3, 4, 5, all the steps lead right down, down, down the rabbit hole. Gotta get out of my head tonight. Let's forget about it. Leave it all alone tonight. And we're waiting on a moment when it feels. Don't wanna talk about it. Oh no, I got everything I need. Oh, don't. Blurry condition, I hide myself in the room and just tell them all that it's nothing, along with all of these humans in a fever, leaving after midnight. Young unbeliever in the dim light, I can't believe it all comes to nothing. Emily, let the night take me down, down, down the rabbit hole. Digging deep with my unbelief, and I'm running on empty. 3, 4, 5, all the steps lead right down, down, down the rabbit hole. Gotta get out of my head tonight. Let's forget about it. Oh, oh, oh. Leave it all alone tonight. And we're waiting on a moment when it feels. Don't wanna talk about it. Oh no, I got everything I need. Don't leave me lonely. Don't leave me lonely. Emily, let the night take me down, down, down the rabbit hole. Digging deep with my unbelief. Let's forget about it. Oh, oh, oh. Leave it all alone tonight. And we're waiting on a moment when it feels. Don't wanna talk about it. Oh no, I got everything I need. Don't leave me lonely. Gotta get out of my head tonight. 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 Gotta get out of my head tonight.
And Fermin, live from Studio M. Alice, now you're also currently, or are you still composer in residence for the Alabama Symphony? Is that still happening?
I think that might have just ended.
Really?
Yeah.
They took away the key or
They
something?
kicked me out. Yeah. No, it's just a 1-year thing.
Okay, but so do you, like when you're writing music, is your brain like in classical mode at first, or I don't know, how does it work for you?
Yeah, I sort
I know
of
it's a
see it
dumb
all as
question,
this,
Charlene, but he's answering it anyway. Okay.
I see I see it all kind of as, a spectrum. There's different kinds of things you're doing. If you're writing a song that these guys are going to play, we're going to play it at Lollapalooza, like that you do think a certain way. If you're writing a piece for 60, orchestral instruments, you think of it a little differently. But the whole reason this band started was that the first record I wrote, I was trying not to think of them as, I was basically like, I'm just going to write something, we'll see what it is.
Uh-huh.
So I wrote it for 20 instruments, and I had, songs and interludes and whatever. And so I try to make sure that I'm never thinking like, oh, time to write a pop song or time to, write a classical piece. I try to just sort of see it as a bunch of things I'm able to do, and I try to match the occasion, a little bit.
Yeah. And so, so were you with then Alan? You're like, dude, we need to get like a saxophone player and trumpet player. Like, how did this
No,
form?
I basically dragged Alan kicking and screaming into this project, honestly.
Okay, cool.
It was
That's a
like,
good way to do it.
I went away after college, and I wrote basically the whole thing in Canada, in the Rocky Mountains. And I came back, and I started with Alan, but then I actually knew Steven and John, sax and trumpet. I knew them from college. We had played together. And so one by one, I just brought people into my house and just recorded them basically in my bedroom. And then it sort of ended up at a very large scale, but every recording session was very small.
Right.
Yeah.
Does he have a cool bedroom, or is it like a kid bedroom again? Like, does it have like kid posters on it on the wall, or is it your own place, or is this like mom and dad's house?
It was mom and dad's house at the time because I
Really?
just graduated. I was living with them. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it was pretty lo-fi, the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, when you said you recorded in the Rocky Mountains, like you weren't like in a tent somewhere or something, were you? Or were you?
I was in like a cabin.
Okay.
There's an artist residency there, and I was there for 6 weeks, and I basically fooled them by saying I was going to write string music, and then I wrote this record. But I also wrote a little string music so I could show it to them and be like, "See, I did something."
Wow. So are there a bunch of different cabins there? Like,
Yeah, there was like 20 or something.
so is it just like all like hot little artists in residence, like bumping around from cabins? Like, was it kind of...
I'm not sure that hot would have been one of the adjectives I thought of, but
But I mean, is there a competition kind of like with the other people that are there, or like what are you doing?
I see,
This is
like
what
hot,
I'm doing.
like professionally hot.
Oh, like a hookup thing you thought I meant? Oh, no, I didn't mean that way. But was it that
Just
way
really
too?
sexy musicians.
Yeah. Did you? Was it kind of like that too? Like a...
Definitely not sexy
Melrose
musicians
Place?
everywhere, but it was
reference.
young musicians, mostly all classical players basically, and a lot of them were like classical performers from Canada. So it really was not similar to what I was doing.
Okay, but so you weren't comparing notes and like it's not competitive.
Every now
or-
and then, but not really. It was very isolated experience there the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I think I'd freak out in the isolated experience. I guess for some people that's inspiring. For me, it would be kind of freaking me out.
Yeah, well, after that, I've surrounded myself with seven people in a bus every day for the rest of my life, so I never have to be
So
alone
you-
again.
You really need to get back. Okay, so we'll meet the band, and Charlene, I need to ask you about a cover band you're in, which looks really funny. I mean, awesome. I mean, in a good way. But let's hear another song first.
This song's called Jackrabbit.
All right, it's Jackrabbit, San Fermin, live from Studio M.
I could tell you how the story goes. Every time we just get on, all together, all alone, all alone, all alone. Like your mother and your father too, all grown up, but they're just like you. And you're gonna do it all anew. Better run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Another day older, everyone you knew, all chasing bells and ahead of themselves, and you know you can't move. One step forward, step right back. Run for the hills, honey, run for the hills, honey, run for the hills. Don't look back. Everything you see is double. Anywhere you go, you lose. When you're lost in the woods and alone in the world too. Another day older, and another day we go. Oh no, alone again with all these people. I can tell you how the story goes. If we die, we just get old. All together, we're all alone, all alone, all alone. Like your mother and your father too. All grown up, but they're just like you. And you're gonna do it all anew. Better run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Wanna live like an animal, by the skin of your teeth. Put your good face on up for no one. You're a jackrabbit underneath. One step forward, step right back. Run for the hills, honey, run for the hills, honey, run for the hills. Don't look back, don't look back, don't look back. Run for the hills, honey, run for the hills, honey, run for the hills. Don't look back. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Everything you see is double. Anywhere you go, you lose. When you're lost in the woods and alone in the world too. One step forward, step right back. I can tell you how the story goes. If we die, we just get old. All together, we're all alone, all alone, all alone. Like your mother and your father too. All grown up, but they're just like you. And you're gonna do it all anew. Better run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Run for the hills, run for the hills, run.
San Fermin, live from Studio M. All right, Charlene. So first of all, I saw it said that you had some kind of song that was official boarding music for Delta Airlines, which I didn't really understand. Is it like when people are getting in their seats, they're piping it through, or what is that?
Yeah, I submitted to this thing that I didn't think was going to be consequential at all, and this was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like services for independent musicians where it's like, oh, your song could be played on Delta or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, sure, I'll pay $10 to be in this lottery. Why not? And it ended up happening. And it was for a year, I think it was like in a playlist of, boarding music among like Nick Jonas and stuff like that. So
Wow.
I'm not mad.
Yeah. So did you ever hear it? Like, were you on?
I didn't, but I was getting the year that it happened. I got texts sporadically from people who flew Delta saying, "Oh my God, like I see your song on the TV screen, and I see it in the little like flying manual and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that's crazy!" But I wish I could have heard it. That would have been cool.
So you never took a flight?
Not on Delta,
Okay.
which is a mistake apparently.
Now, Guns and Hoses. I'm curious. Alan's like shaking his. Oh yeah. So this is a Guns N' Roses cover band that you're in, or all female, or what's the?
It's an all-lady Guns N' Roses cover band, tribute band.
Sweet.
Whatever.
Yeah. And did you lose a bet, or why? How did that happen?
I wish that were the case. It would just happen to be like a bunch of girlfriends of mine in New York that are all front women of our own various bands, and our girl who's Axel, who happened to be a huge Guns N' Roses fan when she was young, and she used to wear a red bandana around her head and crab dance in the mirror, and always dreamed of starting this band. And so I just knew her through a mutual friend, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to play guitar in this all-girl Guns N' Roses band?" I was like, I don't know. I've never played lead guitar before. I don't think this is something that would suit me, but I ended up being like, all right, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this and see what happens. No one had played hair metal or anything like that before, but we just kind of used it as an excuse to hang out and play really loud rock music, and it turned into a gigging profession.
Wow. So does it still happen?
It does. I haven't been able to play with them very often because I've been on the road with these fools. So
Right.
I've been, we have, luckily because I've been busy, it's turned into this coalition of lady shredders in New York that sort of rotate through in the band, and it's become a cool community.
And your gash is instead
That's
of
right.
slash. Yes. That is awesome. We should meet the whole band though. So Ellis, do you want to do the honors? This always goes well on radio,
Sure, yeah.
but kind of go through everybody.
Sure. On guitar, it's Aki Ishiguro. On drums, it's Michael Hampf. On trumpet, it's John Brandon. Saxophone, Stephen Chen. Violin and vocals, Rebecca Durham. The singers are Alan Tate and Charlene Kay. And I play the keyboard.
Awesome. So nobody clap
That's
for him.
Ellis.
Yeah, no applause. Hold the applause for Alice. So this Casanova song that I don't know really well, but do people really? Sorry, a heavy sigh. Do people really just go crazy and start making out all over the place? Like even in the band?
Yeah, well, it started because Alan. Basically, we used to play it a lot on the first record because it was on the first record, and
People
Alan
would always make out.
Yeah, Alan would always notice like one or two couples, and then
Without fail.
Without fail would be making out. That's nice.
and
isn't
that
it?
was fine, but it sort of reached a crux when people started proposing to that song, which did happen in DC. And
You
that
mean
kinda
like during while you're singing it? You're saying, or what?
It was actually sweet. I think it has more to do with our. I think it has more to do with our reservations about, I don't know, big stuff like it just felt important. But people used to make out during the song all the time, which is totally fine. There's always like one awkward second where like a couple will make out and then they both turn and simultaneously make eye contact with you right after that.
Oh yeah,
And like then you feel like third party to something that was
sort of.
But so we were in DC, and this guy Bryce, who works for I guess a blog or site down there, had supported us. Really loved this song. His girlfriend comes all the time. He said, you guys are playing. It's the Black Cat. Yeah. You guys are playing the Black Cat. I really want to propose to my girlfriend. During your sound check, and the first thing we said was, "Sound check is super stressful. I promise you don't want to propose to anyone during sound check. How about during the show?" And he was a little too nervous to do that. I don't blame him. So instead, we actually.
If she says no too in front of the crowd,
that's gonna be bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what even song do you play after that?
Right.
How do you get them back? But so we did it before the show. downstairs in like there's a smaller bar underneath the venue, and he came in and lit all these little tea candles. You know, now that I'm retelling the story, it wasn't that bad. I think
It sounds really nice.
It was totally fine. I think it had to do with it.
We got uncomfortable
after that. We all realized that we have our own issues.
Yeah, but so they did this whole thing.
I see.
We got set up down there with a keyboard. We sang the song. And first of all, so they just sat down in 2 folding chairs in front of us, this tiny little stage, like this size.
Yeah.
And there were all these candles, and she sits down, and I sing about halfway through the song, and he asks her to marry him, and they're both crying, and it's like sloppy kisses and all the stuff you'd want. And then Ellis and I think both were thinking at that point, like, we're only like a minute or two into the song when he did it, so we should probably stop playing because it's done.
Right.
It has happened. And they both just like turned and waited and were ready for the rest of the song. There's a violin solo. It was just the two of us. Ellis just chorded the keyboard chords while we just stood there and just as
Well, I've actually never had more intimate eye contact with Alan than at that moment.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
anyway, I don't think they've gotten married yet, but they're very cute and happy, and yeah.
So what do we give them, 5 years?
No, they're gonna be
No,
great.
it's
They're
gonna be
great.
it's gonna be good.
Dad,
No.
I mean, he went above and beyond. When I proposed to my girlfriend, it was just a CD of Rhett Miller's The Question I played in the background. But I
Nice.
didn't get Rhett Miller to come.
Nice.
You know, so that's nice that you guys did it. He probably would come, yeah.
We played with him that one.
Yeah, no, he's been here before. He actually did. Never mind. He did play it when I told him that story, but it was already posted. So also bad gigs. I saw your first gig was like at a dining hall in a.
Oh wow! You
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
did some digging. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
So was everybody in on that or?
No, that was.
That was. Oh man, you dug deep. That was at Yale when I was a senior in high school, and Ellis was a freshman in college. We had another band that shall never be named in public. And
What was it?
and we played Stephen. I will find you.
Right here, man. It's not hard.
Anyway, we played, and I think it was me, Ellis, and his then roommate who was a cellist. I think all three of us got misintroduced, and then we played while people ate in the dining hall, and it was.
They actually had to cut the show short because
Yeah.
people were staying to watch, and the cafeteria lady was like, "People aren't bussing their trays. This is a problem."
No one's sitting down.
That's nice that they were watching. So, did you ever have showdowns with the Whiffin Poofs at all?
Oh god! Actually, my roommate
The
was
named
in-
cellist was
in
also a
that
whiff and
group,
poop.
Was a Whiffin Poof? Okay.
Yeah, but a cappella was definitely outside of the circle of music that I lived in at Yale for sure.
They're
It's
just
the
always
whole thing.
They're so chipper.
They're really happy
Aren't
people.
they?
Yeah.
Quite.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's instead of trashing all the a cappella groups in the Ivy League, let's do one more song. We didn't say the name while I was saying it in the introduction. So that's where the Running of the Bulls is in Pamplona.
Yes.
Is that mean Running of the Bulls, or that's the festival, or what does it mean exactly?
It's the patron saint of the festival.
Okay.
And I've had 8 different answers to the question why we're called that, and I just sort of rotate through them. So at this point,
Sure.
it's
Pick
'cause
number
it's-
4.
Okay, it's because it's difficult to tell people at gas stations, so they never hear it right. There's sand vermin.
Yeah. I like
It's
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Have you run with the Bulls? Anybody?
No, we actually got invited to play at Pamplona last year, but it didn't work out financially. So we'll go back soon. We'll go eventually.
Okay. Very nice. All right. So we have time for one more. So what are we going to wrap up with?
This song is actually from our first record. It's called Methuselah.
San Fermin live from studio, or San Vermin. What was it? San Vermin.
It's actually sand for meat.
Stand for me live.
Sam Fermin.
Sam Fermin, your table is ready. Live from Studio M.
Pass a message to you and your lover. Like a dirty bouquet with your wine. I will tie to my body some roses. I will fly till I get you alive. Are you thinking now, Methuselah. I'm a passenger. I go along. Have you found a place that's deeper than the corners of your mind to settle down? When I'm lost with myself, I see lions lying golden on beaches of white. I see men with their bones in the wilderness, carry me as I drift in the night. I don't think of you when I'm missing you. Thinking of me now, Methuselah. I'm a passenger. I go along. Have you found a place that's deeper than the corners of your mind to settle down? Are you thinking of me now, Methuselah? I'm a passenger. I go along. Have you found a place that's deeper than the corners of your mind? Are you thinking of me now, Methuselah? I'm a passenger. I go along. Have you found a place that's deeper than the corners of your mind to settle down?
And Fermin live from Studio M. Thanks to Drew Ferguson, our engineer. I'm Jonathan Suttin. This is 105.5 AAA.